What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unmasked podcast. What do you recommend them do or not do as far as like coming out of high school and pursuing a career someday?
You know what? I don't watch sports, bro. Like I don't watch TV. I prefer to be reading. No.
Oh shit.
Like unless I have to, I know I could learn something from it. Like I went to the theaters to watch The Chosen, the story of Jesus, things like that. Things like The Founder. The purpose for that is because in my title, Empresario 100M, I'm trying to build a company to be worth $100 million and be able to sell it. That's why. So everything that I do, it goes towards that purpose, that vision, And TV, bro, I look at it like a waste of time.
No shit.
So it's like, the fuck am I doing watching TV when I could be working out, spending quality time with my family when I'm not home?
Right.
Because when I'm working, I'm working. When I'm, whatever I'm doing, bro, like I want to make sure I'm present. Like right now, I don't give a shit what's going on right now. What I care about is what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So yeah, just quick question. What made you start your podcast?
Oh, we'll get into it.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry, we'll get into it. We got to start this. You're good.
Let me, you're under Bernie, then Matt. Do you have a personal Instagram too or no?
Yeah, that one's just private though.
Okay.
I think I still follow you on that one though. I think we follow each other on that one también.
Okay.
But that one's just my private one. I usually post stuff on it, but not all the time.
Got you. Okay.
And then
when you're ready.
get that one just get it closer to you because wherever this is pointing, that's where the audio is catching.
Like this.
So you'll hear yourself like when it feels like it's buffering, it's because your audio is not going into it. Let me see. Mic check.
1, 2.
No, I'm talking to like mic check.
Mic check.
Perfect. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Unmasked podcast. Today, we have a special guest. We have Jose el Empresario, better known as El Empresario on Instagram. What's up, brother? Welcome to an episode. It's a pleasure having you today.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor being here with you today.
Appreciate you. I know we've been trying to get this for a while. Things come and go. Time passes, but we had to hop onto this chance.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we kind of got into it a little bit and started speaking on some really good facts, actually.
Right.
So I really appreciate. Again, I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
good,
sorry.
brother.
I'm sorry. So one of the things, and you asked me what give me a rundown. Give me a kind of like a layout of the podcast, right? So what I want to start off with is something that really caught my attention, which is your Instagram quote, right? So your Instagram quote starts off with "Desde el campo a la empresa, porque el que no arriesga nunca progresa." Before anything, what does that quote mean to you?
Man, so we come from Marvin, right?
We do.
Coming to this country, I don't know if you knew this because I know your brother for a while. And I knew about you, but I didn't know much about you, right? So coming to this country, bro, I'm an immigrant. I'm a U.S. citizen now. But coming here, the only thing I knew was to work hard, working in the fields. So when I got here to this country, I just wanted to learn how to be a supervisor, how to, learn things in the field so one day I could make it big. Because I didn't want to just be a hard worker and that's it, right? So my life changed when I got into business. But that quote right there, it reminds me to stay humble and to remember where I come from. Because the first job I ever had was picking grapes. So that's really what it means to me. It means a lot. It's just humble beginnings.
Did you just work in the grapes, or did you work in other areas?
I did a bunch of different jobs.
Yeah.
I used to work at Little Caesars as well, but I did anything that has to do with the uva. Amarre, desoje, pizca, everything. Everything you could think of it, we did it in the grape fields.
Yeah.
I mean, we did every color as well.
Same thing. I worked in the fields también. Trabajé en la naranja. So picking, en la poda all year round. So the value of hard work, I understand it, and we're blessed enough, lucky enough to be able to have worked to where we are today, where we don't have to get our hands dirty, right? But we never forget, like you said.
Right.
Never can forget, right? So thank you for sharing that. Now, kind of give an introduction to yourself and who you are and what you kind of do now, because you do a immense amount of things. Like you do
Right.
everything. It looks like, man.
You know, it's crazy because I feel like growing up, I always done the same thing. Like, como Mexicano, we always look for the better, like trying to find something better, right? Like, I always tell this, I live on this philosophy. I did not come to this country to do nothing with my life. Like, we came here to prosper, to do something, right? There's actually a Bible verse that has been inspiring me lately, and I could read that to you.
Yeah, I'd love
I
to,
have it
please.
here. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So that's Jeremiah 2:18. Bro, like I said, growing up, I always believed in the Lord, but I wasn't big on it. I didn't have a relationship with the Lord. So I always looked for a hype, like something to fill in a void since I was a kid. So I worked in the Pisca, right? I also went to go work at the Mandarina. Like I always chased something to try to fill in a void. Like I wanted to be part of something, bro. Even hanging around with the gangsters, messing around, drinking, smoking, partying, doing all kinds of stuff, right? But I never prayed about it because I didn't have that relationship with the Lord. Like my job coming to this country was, you know what? We're gonna come here and we're gonna get a nice house, build a nice house, get a good truck, and that's it. Build a family, and that's it. Like I didn't think of anything else. You know, like most of my family members, they come from agricultural background. Well, actually, everybody comes from agricultural background. So to me, all I knew was agricultural background, the pisca, the uva. That's it. I didn't know nothing else. You know, and
Sorry,
so,
no, keep
no,
going.
you're
No.
good.
I was just taking a breath because, I'm a little pancita.
No, you're good. And to transition that, there's actually a specific story that you're making me think of, and it's crazy because I'm thinking of everything that happened to me as a kid, right? And the experiences that we went through growing up. I started working in the field since I was 13 years old. So for me, I'm thinking back right now that you asked me this question, and what really changed is one day I had this older gentleman. He was probably like on his late 80s, brother. Hardworking man, like one of the most hardworking man I ever seen. And I'm working in the fields. I don't know, I'm maybe like 14, 15 years old. And he said, Mijo, what are you doing here? Why don't you go to school? Get a good job, get a good education so you could get a good job. And in my mind, I said, he's right. Like we're working minimum wage for somebody else. What am I doing here? I could learn the language because I didn't speak English when I came to this country. I had to learn how to speak the language, right? So I thought to myself, like, this guy is so right, but why didn't he do it? And I'm not mean to be disrespectful. I just, in my mind, I'm like, why didn't this guy do it? He's 83 years old. Is that the life I want to live? Nothing wrong with it. Maybe he didn't have the chance that I had. But at my age, I'm like, you know what? This guy is so right. I could build a life for myself, something different, something that nobody in my family has done. So I got inspired by that, by just thinking like, I don't want to be the hardest worker in the fields.
Right.
I don't want to do that. So, I started looking for better opportunities to earn more income. I grew up with a single mom. So me being the man of the house, I had to figure out a way to provide for the family as well. I'm my baby sister.
Yeah.
She's not a baby no more, but you know what I mean? Like to me, she's always going to be my baby sister.
Just the three of you?
Yeah, just us. And then my grandparents.
Your grandparents.
I got an uncle that's disabled. So now both of my grandparents, unfortunately, they passed away already.
Sorry about
but it's all good. It's part of life. And now my uncle, well, we've been with him all of our life. So he lives with us. But to me, I'm like, I want to do something for my family. I want to get out of the hood. I want to do something different. And in order for me to do something different, I got to think different. I got to move different. I got to make different decisions, right? So long story short, I'm living my life, just having fun, drinking, partying, right? And one day, I get locked up. It's the first time I called my mother. And I said, I called her. I remember I was locked up, and I called her. I was like, Mom, don't expect me to come home today. She said, why? And I told her I'm gonna be locked up. So she obviously, if you have a mom, brother, I mean, we all know that moms will love you regardless, even if you're a good or a bad son, right? So she starts crying. She's like, what you do, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Mom, look, listen, just don't expect me tonight. I'm not going to make it home today.
What happened?
And it's just so much, bro. Like, I could go story after story, but I want to really answer your question, right? What inspired me that day that I got locked up, I realized that my friends were not my friends. They turned their back on me. They said, oh, I don't know this guy, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to go into detail because it's a long story, right? But I think we all experienced some sort of betrayal in the past from people who you didn't expect that from, right? And I thought to myself, well, maybe my current friends will not get me to where I need to be. So I need to change the people I surround myself so I could have a better shot to win in life. So I started seeking mentorship, seeking somewhere where I could find some sort of purpose or something to do with my life, right? Because I didn't want to keep doing the same thing, going to a nine to five and just do the same thing that everybody does. Nothing wrong with that. You could live a good life like that, but that's not what I wanted.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So transitioning, I got introduced to the insurance industry. And that's when I came up with that quote. That's really when, to me, I'm like, desde el campo a la empresa, porque el que no arriesga nunca progresa. See, getting in the insurance industry, brother, it was like, what if I could make it work? Because when I got into the insurance industry, you would never see me wearing a suit, bro. Hell no. My eyebrows were like cut off. I was gangster. I was drinking, smoking. I didn't give a shit. Like, if someone would dog me out, I'm like, what's up, bro? Let's get down. That's just who I was.
Yeah.
Because of the people we surrounded ourselves with, right? So we learned to get that in the street, learn to get some tough skin. But see, the people who I got introduced into the insurance industry, they started making me think better. They're like, bro, you don't have to fight everyone that dogs you out. It's not worth it. Let me show you how to make more money. Let me show you how to have better relationships. Let me show you how to make better decisions. And I started seeking mentors, bro. So at the time, I had great mentors in my life. I had people who were teaching me how to change my way of thinking. They introduced me to...
Lift it up a little?
Yeah. They introduced me into reading books. And if you were to put a book on me back then, bro, I'm like, fuck, I ain't reading that shit. Shit's boring. Bro, it's boring to be reading books.
Yeah.
That shit's not fun. It takes a lot of focus, discipline, and a purpose, a vision on why you're even reading a book. So at the time, the first book I ever got introduced to is by Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil. I don't know if are you a reader?
No.
Okay, so that book, bro, changed my fucking perspective in life forever. Like, that book, I'll put it like this. It made me stop drinking. It made me stop smoking. It made me stop doing a lot of things that I was doing because of the perspective. I understood how the human mind worked. And I didn't want her to be the same.
Okay, let me cut you off there.
Go ahead.
Because I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate. Everybody's different, right? So kudos to you. Kudos to the way that you've moved around. Kudos to, everything you've gone through and what you've overcome. Do you think that book was the only reason why you were able to change it? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, something has to trigger in your head where, like, well, maybe my mom doesn't want me to see me keep fucking up. Maybe I'm not the best influence for my little sister. So, like, for example, myself, I grew up around all kinds of negativity. I grew up around drugs. I grew up around alcoholics. I grew up around a lot of stuff, right? But I never once picked up the habit of alcohol, drugs. Oh, alcohol, I did drink a little bit, but like drugs and stuff, because I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the reason. That was weird. I didn't want to be the reason why I was going to let my mom down. You know what I mean? Was I perfect? Hell no. Far from it. But I feel like there has to be something in your head where you're just before the book, like, you can't paint yourself as a bad person, because I don't think you're a bad person. like you said, it was the influences, but there has to be something in your head that prior to reading that book, you were like, I gotta stop doing this. Like, I gotta stop being in that revolving circle of just going around the same thing, like a dog chasing his tail. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But I respect it because you're here. You know, not a lot of people can say that. So kudos to you. Which, skipping over your mentors a little bit, I kind of want to jump into your faith. You bring up faith a lot. As of late, you've been going to, or for a while now, I'm not sure exactly the timeline, but I tried to find it like on your Instagram, but I couldn't really find it. You've been surrounding yourself with a lot of people in your mentorships, like your group's church, right? You've been going to church a lot.
Yes.
And I met a couple of them at my brother's fight. So we were there together. And how has that impacted your life?
That's actually like a perfect question to ask, bro, because see, I wasn't a good person before, but I am now. And the reason for that is because I know Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. He saved my life, bro. Before, I didn't give a shit about that. I didn't care about nothing. Like, I didn't care to die, bro. I didn't care. I wasn't a good person before. Now it's different because when you start reading your Bible and getting surrounded by believers, it changes your perspective on how to control your emotions, how to control your temper, your anger, right? How to even like live life and walk life with wisdom.
Right.
It's different. It's just a completely different lifestyle.
How long have you been going for?
You know what? I got
baptized. Like when you were baptized. Perfect. Yeah.
So I don't think my faith started with the baptized though. My faith started sooner. My faith started the day of that I got locked up. Remember I shared that story? So that day I prayed to the Lord. I said, you know what, God, I don't know if you ever done this to God, right? And you asked, God, if you could do this favor for me, right? So I did that, but I actually threw faith on it because my mom's always been a believer. We grew up Catholic, but it's not about that. Like my mom taught me early on, it's about having that relationship with the Lord, whether you're Catholic, Christian, Jehovah's Witness, it don't matter, bro. Like it's about you having that relationship with the Lord. So that's how it's been in my life. I was just the stubborn that didn't want to listen and I wanted to make bad decisions. I was being like a curious kid, right? Like I wanted to like figure things out and learn why and why. So to transition to the faith, it took a lot because it's like you have to die to yourself. You have to die to your flesh, to the things you want, to the material stuff. You have to be humble enough to understand that everything is borrowed in this world. Nothing is ours. It's all the Lord's. The house you got, the cars you got, your wife, your kids, where we're sitting at, friendships, money, everything is borrowed. Like, what the fuck we gonna take when we die, bro?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. So you have to get to the point where you have to, rock bottom, bro. And sometimes for some people, it takes multiple times, like me. It took me multiple times to hit rock bottom to understand that the Lord is the king. He's the real king. What are we? We're like little ants just walking around the world and that's it, you know? But it took me a long time to understand that, and being around believers and going to church long enough and joining small groups and going to therapy and going to men retreats to get to this point.
That's a lot of dedication.
It's a lot. It's a lot of commitment.
Do you think you're fully changed? Do you think you fully devoted yourself?
Nobody's ever fully changed, man. We're all fucked up. We're all broken. If somebody tells you they're fully changed, they're full of shit, bro. Excuse my language, but see, that's something I gotta work on. Like, you know what I mean? I cuss. I still cuss. Like, there's little things and things that you're never gonna be complete. Only Jesus was perfect. That's it.
I respect that, because someone that would have been very obnoxious would have said, yeah. You know what I mean? That's why I respect that, because you know your wrongs, you know your weaknesses, you know that we're always going to be sinners no matter what.
100%.
You know what I mean? Speaking about the fight, what'd you think about the fight on Saturday?
Fuck, man, that shit was fun, bro.
That shit was crazy.
That shit was fun, bro. I love my boy German, man. Honestly, I actually fought German when we were in high school, bro.
Neta?
Yeah, we used to not like each other. We didn't like each other.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
I always thought he was cool,
that.
and I'm sure I don't know what his perspective, but he used to punk on me, bro. He used to call me paisa. So I had a lot of people who used to try to punk on me because I didn't speak their language, But I think German could even like remember this. I didn't give a shit. I would fight anybody too.
God damn.
But bro, honestly,
so you're the same age as him?
Same age. We
same
graduated
grade?
the same grade. Yeah. We definitely we go way back, bro. Way back.
It was a crazy ass fight, way.
But you know what? I'm fucking proud of that guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, like respect, because I remember I was doing MMA. I trained too. And he kept going, though. I got busy with my business. Like, to me, I was more focused on just building the business. Mm-hmm. And this is not the first time I gone to seen him fight. Remember the accident he had?
Yeah.
So I went after the accident, the first fight, which is the
one in January.
Yeah, the one in January. So I went for the first time because we get busy with life, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And I always wanted to go to support him, but like I said, bro, I was just busy. But I said, you know what? I'm going to make the time. Yeah. Because we prioritize other stuff. But let's see. Like, for example, I always wanted to go, but I just chose not to because I chose to go to work instead or do other stuff, But I was like, you know what? We could die anytime, bro. Like, I want to be there for this guy. This is my boy from high school. So I went, bro, and I was freaking happy, bro.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight,
tear,
too.
Bro. I threw a little tear, not going to lie, because that's my boy. It feels good to see people win.
Could you imagine how the feeling was on Saturday, though? Like, I cried. I cried like a child, way. I was crying the entire time from not from the bell ringing, but when that foot threw that spinning back fist that in the first round, I was burnt.
Yeah.
I was burnt. But to see him raise that belt after all this hard work, and there's a little clip that in German's podcast, the last one that we had, there was a little clip where he said, I want to be a purple belt, and I want to hold that title. And obviously, he's a purple belt. Now he holds that title. So we'll see what happens now. But shout out German, man. Congratulations on being the champ, 145-pounder. What do you ever think you're gonna get back into MMA at all?
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna tell you, and I wanted to share this because that guy Rico, I'm sure he was a tough opponent.
Oh, that boy was a tough opponent.
He was a fucking tough opponent.
He was a tough-ass opponent.
Bro, I went to see him. I think he knocked out the fucking guy on his first round or something like that the last time I was there.
Really?
Yeah, he knocked it, bro. And I started following the guy.
Oh, yeah, he TKO'd him. Yeah, he did.
It was pretty solid, bro. For someone to do that, that means they've been training. But see, one thing that I know is it's just crazy because they're both believers. I don't know if you know that. The other guy's a believer too.
No, I didn't know
and
that.
German's a believer. We were praying for German before the fight. So, it was an interesting fight to me. But to answer your question, I see these guys, bro, performing in a fucking cage, chasing their dreams, do the things they want to do. And it gets addictive when you want to be successful, right? Like, I like to do crazy shit like that, bro. So I see myself fighting in the fucking cage. I'm beating someone. Not because I want to beat them, but it's like I see myself doing that. Like, I know I could go out there and do it. All I got to do is train and train and train. Because it's a mindset as well. Discipline. You have to be focused, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the same shit as the marathon. I just finished doing the 26.2 miles.
Damn.
Most fucking people can't do that shit.
No, not a lot of people can't do that shit.
So, do I see myself doing that? Yeah. I think I would do it just for at least one time. Just to fucking do it. And it's always been in my mind, bro. It's like constantly coming to my mind. Yeah. And when I saw German fight, I'm like, fucking German, good shit, But I want to do it too. Like, I love to see people win, but I like to win with them.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. Especially it's tying to like that competitive mindset, you know what I mean? But it leads to my next question: fitness. You're really big into fitness now. I'm not sure how long you've really been like into fitness, but as far as my question to you is, what does fitness to Jose look like right now, mentally,
It's a lifestyle.
and physically? Like, what does it look like for you right now?
That's a great question. I'll share something from last year, okay?
Yeah, please.
Last year, it was probably the shittiest fucking year of my life, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. One, I lost my grandmother. I got her last heartbeat tattooed here, and she was a very important person in my life. She meant a lot. You know, I didn't picture myself leaving without her. Coming home was joyful. Like sometimes where I would be traveling for business or whatever, she would be praying for me. And when I would come home, she always had a smile for me. So, you know, losing a loved one is tough itself. But kind of losing your best friend, bro, it's even worse. So to me, my grandma was like my best friend. So that's that. Um, I don't know why the fuck we get attached to dogs, bro. I had a German Shepherd.
Dogs are important, brother.
They're like a family member, bro.
They are.
It's crazy, you know. And my German Shepherd Shadow, he ran away, he never came back. So it felt like a fucking lost. So grieving after grieving, and at the time, I was dating this person who I really thought I loved, and I wanted to marry this person. And we broke up. Well, she broke up with me. For what reason? It was like a really interesting reason, like the dumbest reason. Like there was no cheating, none of that, nothing, bro. Um, but I did pray to the Lord to take her out of my life if she wasn't the one, and apparently she wasn't the one. But it hurt, bro. That shit hurt because
How long were you guys together for?
we were probably like living together. We were already living together. Like I moved out. Fuck, bro. Maybe about a year. But I gave my all. Like you ever gave your all to something and then something doesn't work? And you're like, fuck.
Every day, bro. I give everything to my wife. 16 years.
Yeah. You know, and that's a blessing. That's a fucking blessing to
And
have.
she hurts me every day, wait.
It happens, bro. It happens, right?
I know, yeah.
But the thing
yes,
is,
to answer your question seriously, yes, I have.
for me, bro, like on a serious note, I fucking love this person. Like I really thought, because I was already praying for a wife after I got baptized. And then when she came around, bro, I wasn't dating anybody. So when she came around, I thought she was a gift from the Lord. But apparently it wasn't, bro. And that's okay. The girl's not a bad girl. You'll never hear me talk shit about people. There's no need for me to do that. It's just, it didn't work out and it is what it is. But at the time, bro, losing my grandma, losing my dog, losing her, and also losing my finances, I lost everything. I lost all my money, bro. So going through that shit, at the same time, my mom lost her job too. I had to support my mom during the same time last year. And with the company, somebody did some sort of fraud. I won't mention any names, but I gave them the opportunity to come work with us. They did some fraud, and because of that person, the company, because I was his upline, the person that brought him into the business, they canceled my contracts with all the carriers, and they put me on something called earn. I don't know if you know much about the insurance industry, but they put me on something called earn, meaning that, for example, being in the insurance industry, just so you could understand it, if I were to sell a policy today for $100 a month, I'm gonna get paid about $1,200 within 2 to 3 days. So it's fast money, bro, because they give us the 12 months ahead in advance. That's for me, my situation. Not everybody's like that. Not everybody's lucky to have that blessing. But for me, that's how it is, right? So what they did, they put me on earn, meaning every time the client, like if I sell a policy today, I'm only going to get paid every time the client pays. I don't get paid
I see.
12 in advance. I'm only going to get paid $100 every month.
Yeah.
So I only made $30,000 in the whole fucking year, bro, because of that. I barely even fucking survived. That was not enough. To some people, that's okay. But when you have high expenses, bro, that's not okay. I'm not used to make 30,000. Bro, I made way more already since the beginning of January of this year than I made last year. Way more. Probably more than double. And it's like, dude, it's crazy because I had to, back to the question, right? Like, I had to lose everything again, bro, to humble my ass and to understand, you know what? Everything is borrowed. Like, what do you have left, Bernie, once everything's been stripped away from you? In the Bible, there's a story. It's called, is the story of Job. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, my brother's talked to me about it a couple times.
Job lost everything, brother. He lost 10 kids in one day. He lost everything, like all his finances, everything, his health, everything. I was even getting anxiety attacks. Brother, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't really shared this in a podcast. Now I feel comfortable doing it. Yeah. But I had a fucking 45 to my head. I was like, you know what? Fuck this life. This shit ain't worth it.
What made you do that, though? Because look, because I've been put in those situations too, obviously, and now that I've gotten older, I've tried to evolve a little bit more. But as far as, I feel like, do you have any kids?
No.
So now, me as a father, right? You asked me about the story of Job. My brother told me the story of Job when I found out my wife had cancer, right? So everything's good now, but and I appreciate you. But as far as, I get anxiety, I get depression. You know, I deal with my stuff too, right? As everybody does. But when you're put in a situation as we get older, it's like, I can't think like that, or people should really. I can't tell people how to think, but I can't think like that because I got a little one, right? I feel like you're so strong-minded that you shouldn't think like that. You have your little sister, you have your mom, you know, we all get put in, and life is so beautiful to really, you know, to really enjoy it, to really see like the perspective, to put everything in perspective on the negatives or positives, because we learn from it, because we can grow, because we can explore many different things. There's solutions to everything, right? And being put, I'm not sure when you thought about doing something like that, if it was last year or
yeah.
It was last year.
Which is, you know, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
But I could tell you this. I used to think people who thought that way were fucking weak.
Yeah.
A
lot of people do.
All my fucking life. I was like, the fuck? Why would I kill myself, right? But brother, it's easier to say it when we're healed and when we have a purpose. But when you're going through it, that shit gets fucking real, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Like, when you're in those dark moments that nobody will get you out of that fucking hole where you're stuck, I'm like, no, everything's gone. It's a mental stat. Like,
do you still feel like that?
Oh,
have you felt like that this year?
Hell nah, bro.
Why?
Because one, when I was going to do it, I was tearing up. I'm like, fuck.
No, I know, but why? Why don't you feel like that now? Because I still feel like that.
Really?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you why.
I'm going there. I'll tell you why I don't feel like that no more, right? And then you could tell me too.
Yeah.
You could tell me too. But this is why. Because there is one thing that my grandma used to always tell me, and my mom would always tell me. And I have a buddy, his name is Alex Bravo. He's fucking cool, bro. This guy told me one time, because I was kind of going through it, but I didn't open up to him.
Yeah.
And he told me, you know, Jose, and he's not much of a believer like that, bro. But he said, Jose, the only thing the Lord will never forgive you for is if you kill yourself. So I thought of those thoughts, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute. The fuck am I gonna do that for? What if I could go through this? What if the Lord has better plans for my life? And then I decided to take my own decisions. And that's when this Bible verse came to my head. Trust the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. And that stayed deep and deep and deep. I'm like, and then there's another Bible verse that came up to my head that it's in the Bible 365 times for a reason. And it's super simple. It's do not be afraid. So I started adding that to my mind. I'm like, fuck this shit. I got way more. The Lord probably has more blessings for me. And that's it. And then I made a commitment to run to the Lord when I would have problems. So now, if I'm going through some shit, bro, whether it's with a partner, whether it's financially, emotionally, physically, anything, bro, I run to the Lord. I don't run to humans. They can't do shit for me. They could try to help, but the only way I could fulfill that void is through the Lord. And I understood that everything is borrowed in this life. Why am I stressing for shit? What the Bible says, do not be anxious for anything, right? Why am I stressing on finances? Why am I stressing on a wife? Why am I stressing on this stuff that at the end of the day, they're temporary?
Yeah. But even then, everything is temporary, but you got to live life every single day to the fullest, right? You got to, if you want to pursue that, you pursue it. If you don't want to, obviously you don't want to, but depression and anxiety is just a different monster. It's a different game. It's a different level of understanding. Not a lot of people understand it, and not because I'm not close to the Lord. I feel like I can definitely get closer, like I've, told many people, but depression, brother, it's different. Like anxiety, it's different. Like fear, it's the fear of, it's not really the fear of dying. It's the fear of not being able to be good enough for somebody, for someone, for not being able to be a good dad, not being able to be a good husband, not being able to be a good friend, a good brother. It's not necessarily the ideology of, oh, I'm just gonna kill myself because I'm gonna kill myself.
No,
it's the ideology of I want to end it because I'm not good enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've been in that position, bro, and I've prayed, and sometimes the prayers aren't answered.
No.
But that's because of my level of belief at the time, right?
But let me tell you how to kill that shit, how I killed it. The way I kill that shit is by getting fucking busy. And that's like literally why you asked me, right? I do a bunch of shit now. Well, I had to fucking get busy, bro. When a man is walking on their purpose, there's no fucking time to think negative for yourself. There's no time to feel pity for yourself. There isn't time for that shit, bro. When you have the fucking body that you want to have, you feel great. When your bank account starts growing, you feel great. When everything starts coming from the Lord,
that's borrowed.
It is borrowed.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
but see,
that's where it's coming from, because even if I have all that, even if I have all the money in the world, even if I have all the best looking body, even though I look like fucking William Levy right now, I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, hermano, if you're not right here, even if you are busy, it doesn't matter.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
It just hits different when the blessings come from the Lord, bro. That was my point.
Yeah.
Because you could go run back to the same things, wanting to have a nice body, wanting to have a nice house, a nice cars, all the borrowed things, right? It hits different.
Do you compare yourself to people right now?
No.
No?
Fuck no. I don't. For what? I have my own walk. I have my own struggles. I already have struggles in my life. Why worry about
it closer.
Put this closer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn it closer. If you're going to move, turn it closer.
Okay.
Like, twist it like this. Because
Gotcha.
you're speaking great right now, so I want to make sure it gets captured.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck no. I have my own struggles, bro. Why worry about somebody else's life when I have shit to deal with? I have things to work on. There's no need for me to worry about what others are doing. You know?
Yeah.
I don't. There's no reason for us to compare ourselves. You know what? You might be gifted in some things better than I am. I might be better in the things than you are.
Yeah.
We're different.
Hold on, I'm trying to.
You
Bro,
good,
you're
bro.
doing
Let's
great,
go,
bro. I
let's
love
go.
it. I love it. This is a podcast, man.
Yeah.
I love you. You kind of answered it, but what was your spiritual or emotional breakthrough when you finally realized this is it, or like this is the last straw kind of thing?
I feel like we have a lot of different ones throughout time.
Yeah.
There's different seasons in life, right? For me, bro, the biggest breakthrough I had is when I was like, you know what? I'm fucking tired of doing my own thing. Like, Lord, bless me. Let's do it your way because my way don't work. Let's work with you. I'm going to do it your way. And right now, bro, I could tell you this, man. Like, right now, I spend Christmas by myself. And I chose to do that. Because I needed a me moment with the Lord. I was fucking sick and tired of my life, bro. Like, I was tired. You have to get to the point where you're sick and fucking tired of being sick and tired, bro. And you have to want more. And when you know we all know we got more in ourselves than what we give to our daily basis. So to me, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start running. I'm gonna trip you all a little bit. This is what the Lord could do for you at any time. Well, this is what the Lord did for me. I'm not saying for you, right? I'm saying in general. I didn't start running until December 25, 2024. That was my first time running. I did my marathon March 30th of this last month. That's a fucking huge gap from starting to run from 2024, September 25, 2024, to running a fucking full marathon on the 30th of March. You have to fucking have some shit. You must be a little... There has to be something weird going on with you, bro, to be able to push your body to that level. Most people will not do that. January 15, I ran my first 15K. I had some pain still from last year that I was like, I need to heal this up. And the way I need to heal this up is if I stay focused in my purpose that the Lord wants me to do. So I was praying on December 24, Lord, what do you want me to do with my life? I don't understand it right now. I want it to be your way. I had a friend from the small group. This is why small groups are important when you're going to church. I had a friend on small group from a small group up in the Bay Area. It's called Bay Hills. She posted that the group was gonna run a 5K, 10K, 15K, and a half a marathon. I was like, huh. And I had been thinking about running because my friends were telling me running will help you, right? So I was like, all right, Lord, is this what you want me to do? Let's do it. My friend calls me. I have a best friend now. I met her on my birthday. Literally on my birthday, I went out with her to go play some pool, and she's became like my best friend, bro. She's a believer. She's all about the Lord. Like, she's someone that I know she's really walking in the faith. Yeah. Like, this person is it's 28, still a virgin, waiting to get married, bro. You don't find a lot of women like that. And I admire that. I respect her. And I don't look at her lustfully, bro. Like, she's like a sister to me. Because she knew what I was going through. So she called me that day. She's like, hey, friend, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's go for a run. And that was like a sign to me that why is everybody telling me to go on a run? Everybody around me is telling me go on a run. And I was like, let's do it. You know, like, that's a sign from the Lord. So I started running and I started training. Like, maybe January 8, I run 10 miles. I'm like, okay, if I could do 10 miles, I was dying, bro. I was dying running 10 miles. But I was like, if I could do 10 miles, I could definitely do this 15K. So I went to San Francisco. I got the 15K done. And then I saw fucking people, bro, running like nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with these guys? These guys are running with backpacks and shit. Some people pushing their kids. I'm like, bro, that's fucking inspiring.
It's a lifestyle.
I'm like, wait a minute, you telling me the fucking human body could do this? And I read a lot of books. I read 3 to 5 books a month all the time. There's David Goggins. Have you heard of David Goggins?
Yeah.
So I started thinking about
I
this.
don't believe in David Goggins.
You know what? There's fucking people who done more than him, bro. Like, there's nothing special about the guy.
You know what? You know what it is? It's the whole. You know who Patty Pimblett is?
No.
He's a UFC fighter.
Okay.
He's David Goggins trained Tony Ferguson for one of his fights, and Patty Pimblett said he's basically gonna knock Tony Ferguson out. He's like, "Who's gonna row the boat? Who's gonna row the boat? David Goggins. No one's gonna row the boat." You know how David Goggins says that shit, and he knocked him the fuck out. And he said, "Fuck David Goggins." But obviously, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
That's besides
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
But to me, bro, that fucking, I actually have a little video with David Goggins. Not me personally, but I have respect for the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anybody.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking whole different level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my point is this, bro. I started thinking, I'm like, bro, if David Goggins or all these people could fucking do this, I could fucking do this shit too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing different than these people.
The only person that puts limitations on something is
It's
yourself.
ourselves. That's it. So that's when I'm like, one day I'm gonna run a fucking marathon.
That's dope.
So I started praying to the Lord, when do you want me to do this marathon? And then obviously, the more I started running, people are like, "You're a runner?" I'm like, I just started running. You know what I mean? But it started getting inspiring to me, bro. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Can I do 26.2 miles? That's like a whole different level. Because if you could do 10 miles, bro, it's like, it's challenging.
Yeah.
Even to some people, running a mile, they're like, fuck this.
That's me right there.
Well, because it takes a lot of mental, physical, and emotional focus to be able to do that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a different animal inside you. Like, you have to get that shit out of you to be able to get to that, to the 26.
Now, can you make it a lifestyle though, or is it just a one-time thing?
I could make it a lifestyle. Yeah.
That kind of, now let's tie it all up. How does faith, fitness, and finances connect with you?
Perfect. So I'm
you
glad
got
you
12
asked.
minutes.
I'm glad you asked. So a lot of men don't believe in therapy. I do. Do I think you need it all the time? No, you don't. It's a fucking waste of money, bro. If you don't implement what you learn in there. You don't need a lot of things to change. All it takes is one fucking different perspective in your life to change, to drift the direction of your life. That's what therapy, the men retreats, the small groups, that's coming from faith, going to church, reading my Bible, having me moments with just me and the Lord. That's first. So in therapy, I learned something that has to be connected. As human creatures, we have the soul, the body, and the spirit, right? If those three are aligned, you're in a balance. You're in a good spot, bro. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Are you understanding? Okay, what's the soul?
Like your inner soul?
So your soul is your mind, right? What's our spirit? Like our heart.
Your heart?
Put it like that. Like our heart, right? And then what's our body?
Body.
Our body. Super simple, right? So when your mind, when your emotions, your heart, your mind, your emotions, your body's connected, brother, you're a fucking powerful human being if you're able to control all that. If your body's telling you, for an example, let me give you a perfect example. Let's say, I don't want to fucking drink soda anymore. You say to yourself, in your mind, you're thinking, hey, I'm not going to fucking drink soda anymore. But guess what your fucking body does? Drinks the fucking soda. What do you think is that?
You're unaligned?
It's a fucking, yeah, you're unaligned, and it's a fucking habit. You have to break some habits in order for you to change. But it has to take more than just thinking that you want to do something. You have to control your mind and tell your fucking body, I'm not going to drink that shit. So the next time you drink a soda, you're telling yourself that you don't want to be better. You throw that shit away. You don't fucking need to drink soda. If you say, I don't want to eat chips, throw that shit away. Don't buy fucking chips. If you say, I don't want to smoke, don't fucking buy cigarette packs. The fuck you need them for? So, my point is this. You have to align your soul, your spirit, and your body. I learned that in therapy. And you could implement that shit in your life, in any area. You have to be disciplined. You have to be aligned. You have to be balanced, right? There isn't such a thing as being balanced, bro. But you're able to control what you can't control what you think. Because you could think one way and act different.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So that's when it comes to the faith. Fitness, same shit. Put it like this. Let me give you 3 things. I'll speak on the faith. When you say...
but how do all 3 connect with you? Like, how do they tie into you, to Jose? How does faith intertwined with fitness? How does fitness intertwine with finances and vice versa? Like, that's what I want to know. Because I know what they are individually to you, right? We've spoken about it. But all 3 together as one thing, how does Jose implement those? How does it work in your life? You know what I mean?
Yes. So I've been to a lot of conferences where there's multimillionaires, people who make a lot of money, bro.
Okay.
So one thing that I learned that is important in this country is faith. In this country, faith is important. Believing in the Lord, it's super important in this country. Go to other countries. They don't believe in God. That's why we do mission trips, to inspire people to get into the Word. The Word is very addictive. But certain people, think about when Jesus came to life, right? I know we have a couple of minutes left. When Jesus came to life, to our world, even people, after all the miracles he did, bro, people didn't believe in him. So that means that when he was doing those miracles, people didn't believe in him. What makes you think that everybody believes in the Lord? Not everybody.
Not everybody does.
So my point with that is, for me, I believe. So that ties in with me, right? But if I believe, I have to surrender everything. Mm-hmm. Obviously, first, without the Lord, we're nothing. Finances, right? Can we live without making money?
No, obviously not.
Can we pay this house?
Obviously not.
Can we pay the cars we drive? Mm-hmm. Can we take our families to go eat? Can we dress? We need it for everything. That's one thing that a lot of people who believe in the Lord or that are religious, I'm not saying that believe in the Lord, let me correct that. People who are too religious, you can't be too religious in life, bro. The Lord never liked that. When you're too religious, you start believing that money is bad. Money is not bad. It's a fucking tool for you to get to where you need to be. It's something that we need. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Chosen.
No.
So you got to check it out, right? But The Chosen, it's the story of Jesus. Al César se le tiene que pagar lo que quiere el César. That's still not going to deliver us from what we need to work on in our spirit.
Right.
Right? And in our spirit, it also comes down to obviously you internally. Do you feel good internally in the body that you're walking on? Because our body is our temple, right?
Right.
So what do we feed to our body? What kind of food are we giving to our body? So faith, fitness, and finances, they all come a long way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. And I appreciate you going a little bit more in depth in it, because you're scratching the surface, but I want it deep.
Right.
I wanted what's really in there. You know what I mean? Right. So that's why I had to pry it out of you, big dog. But as far as those 3, right? Which of them do you think people most misunderstand?
Ooh, that's a great question.
One of the 3.
Damn, doggy. Can you ask me the question again?
Yeah. Out of the three, which are faith, fitness, and finances, which is the most misunderstood by people today? In
See, I
your
can't.
opinion.
Okay, if it's coming from my opinion,
Oh, yeah, it's your
I can.
opinion.
I
Your
cannot speak
podcast.
for everybody, right?
Right.
I can't speak for everybody,
But
but
from what you see,
for what I see,
what do you think is misunderstood more by people now from those three?
the faith. Unfortunately,
I agree.
the faith, 100%.
I agree.
Just because there's so much to it, it could get very confusing when you get into the faith, and that's why a lot of people get turned off by it. There's unfortunately people who do open up churches for money, to get that 10% from people. There is good people out there.
Yo, crazy that you bring that up, and you can continue. Did you ever see a video that was going around that of this gentleman at a church who's a priest or a minister, whatever he titled himself as, and he would not let people leave the church. He said told the guards close the doors because unless everybody donates $20 and there's 1,000 people in the church and 1,000 people online, they wanted to make $4,000. Until those $4,000 was made, nobody could leave.
That's the stupidest shit
Swear,
ever.
I promise you on anything. I saw it on Facebook, and I had been meaning to share, but to hear something like that is where the whole turnoff thing goes, right?
Yeah.
Like what you said.
Because that's where people, and that's what I'm saying. The faith could be very contradicting, very contradictive. So, unfortunately, we got people like that, right? Who do things for money. You know what the beautiful part about having a relationship with the Lord, Bernie, is?
What is it?
You learn to distinguish what's really coming from the Lord and what's really not. You could tell when a church is money driven or when a church is really there to serve the people of the King, our King. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Give me an example.
You could.
Have you been in a church like that
I'm
before?
sure you have too. We all have, right? We all been to a church where they preach more about the money than they preach more about
The word.
So we've been in church. I visited multiple churches, and unfortunately, there is people like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the faith is very, it could be very contradictive. That's why some people don't believe because of people who fuck it up. There's people who don't believe.
My last question to you is, because we're wrapping up a little bit. Do you, in your opinion, Jose, do you feel like a person needs to go to church in order for them to be a believer?
No. God is everywhere. He could be in the corner of your closet. He's here. He's everywhere. Everything is his. It doesn't have to be at a church. Now, the church is important for you to not isolate yourself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that because you're going to the church that he's there. Obviously, he is. Right. But you get my point.
Yeah.
So, no.
So, brother. Man, let me tell you, this hour went by super quick. So, and you can talk, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on here, saying your word, saying your part, your piece, explaining who you are, where you came from. To the people out there watching you, please put your social medias. Please tell them where they can find you, and if you want to give them a final message of by you, please do so. Your business, whatever it is, the floor is yours.
Okay, cool. Well, my Instagram is Empresario100M, and that's pretty much everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, I'm under Jose Garcia el Empresario. If anybody here, needs anything that has to do with like insurance, solar, if you guys want to support my podcast, I have a clothing line, so we're selling shirts to buy more equipment to eventually pay like high quality people to come into the podcast. So the purpose for the main brand right now, Think Growth, is to get to $100 million and be donating to churches who are actually putting in the work for the Lord on mission trips or donating for the homeless and things like that. So, and obviously we want a lifestyle. We want a good lifestyle for other people who are around us. Why? Because it's important for us to also understand that money is the tool to get to different levels in life. It's how you use it in it's how you use it is gonna depend on what you do with your life. Whether it's like, if you wanna, for example, I'll give you a quick example and I'll close it off. Money, yes, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, but that does not say money is the root of all evil. It's the love, right? So how you use your money, it's gonna be used to either the good or the bad. There's a book that people could read. It's called "What Were the Rockefellers Do?" And that's, brother, I have a lot to talk on, right? But there's plenty of books. So if someone needs some advice as far as like, hey, I barely got into personal development and I have a question as far as like this area in my life, I want to grow on habits. I want to learn mentorships. I want to learn finances. I want to learn all this stuff. Just subscribe to our podcast, and you could find all these people that I've been interviewing who have made $1 million, and they teach you how to do this. So if you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to, reach out to us, or, my number's out there, 661-557-0749. So if there's anything I could do to serve you guys, I'm here. Thank you guys for hearing us out. Brother, thank you for allowing me to be in your podcast, man. I see you doing big things in here as well. So I appreciate you for even allowing me to be here. And God bless you guys. Take care.